now that I've covered everything that I know about, starting out as a fresh base mesh, let's kind of move stuff around. So here, definitely learn to clear this out. Now, notice when I hover over a button. Okay, I talked about learning shortcut keys. If you want to learn a shortcut key, well, under here, a few of these have shortcut keys already mounted under them. Like clear is Control-Shift-A. That one's kind of handy. So Control-Shift-A to clear the actual mask off. And if you see something starting to move funny on you, always hit Control-Shift-A. Okay, the tool that I will be using most of the time for a while is the Move tool with dots. Okay, and again, it's because this is on drag rectangle. It looks like I have it on drag rectangle, but actually it's on dots until I move it out. And no symmetry involved. I will start moving this around. Now, wouldn't it be easier at this point to start moving things at a lower resolution? Yes, it would. So start utilizing this right here. And keep polyframe on. That way you're not screwing up your edge loops. So I'm just going to start moving this out. See how this is kind of jankety in this region? I would want to smooth that out a little bit right there. You don't want something that looks like this because you wouldn't get good flow. So make sure you keep your line straight and you'll be all right. If you need to lengthen out a finger, very easily to do that by going like that, making your brush really big. Not sure how to make your brush bigger and smaller very quickly. Make sure you look at my shortcut keys video. I mounted those on my bracket systems rather than using the annoying S key. Okay, what kind of system's that? I yell at them because when ZBrush 3.12 came out, there was no like real hotkey system set up, so you had to use the S key to actual resize your brush. That's pretty hard to get used to after every application that I've ever known in life to have the bracket system on the brush key. So I was a little bitter at times. Okay, so as you can see, I'm taking my time. I'm spending a lot of time on just the fact that I'm moving these around, trying to get good form and these straightened out a little bit and get them to where they're supposed to be at too. So if these edge loops need to be moved to maybe the knuckle area, that would help me out later on my mesh because I can go like this and I can peek these up a little bit and it'll actually move that knuckle up a little bit in that area. So I'll go like that, see if I got good structure. I might move this a little bit out and kind of look at your hand, how it meets the actual wrist. You'll find that this side actually is kind of a seamless transition between your hand all the way down to your pinky. Okay, so it goes right into your wrist. On this side, you're going to see a major form transition. That's going to kind of look more like this. So this side, I got to fix that, but I'm going to make sure I do that at a lower resolution because it would be a lot easier. start to look at the side of forms too. So if I'm looking down this mesh, kind of, I can see that there is a nice transition all the way down it. If you start looking on the outside of your forms a lot, seeing the outline of things really does help when you sculpt. And keep switching angles too. Never just stick with one angle and try to hammer on a mesh. Constantly be rotating around, looking down objects. So look down your hand and see what it looks like and how that form transitions between the wrist and your thumb. How does that look from that angle? How does it look from this angle? And when you do model one of these, if you're left-handed, model your right hand. If you're right-handed, model your left hand. And that way you have a good model right there in front of you. And you can start learning that way. Okay. Now for stuff like this, let's say I can do this all day long. Now let's go into the smooth brush for a second and turn the intensity down a few. Okay, so let's go into maybe 5 or 7. That way when I'm in the move tool and I hold shift, you know, it's moving it just a little bit. Okay, I'm still not happy with that. You know, I really want it to move just a little tiny bit, so I'm going to choose maybe like a 4 or 5, and then when I'm in the move tool, I have the ability to go like this, and it really does help out to have that nice smooth on rather than have it at full blast. At this point, I'm just kind of straightening out these lines a little bit. Okay, obviously you're not going to have enough geometry at this level to work on the palm. So that means you have to kind of go into a level that represents the palm. See how there's a big gap between actual resolutions. Right here was my true mesh. See how these black lines are got a big huge change in them? So that means I'm going to have to add another level of subdivide in here to work out the palm. So don't do that yet. Wait. Work on the palm here in a little bit. Work on, you know, how to maybe slender down these fingers a little bit before you do that. And you can do that using the inflate. And when you hold shift on inflate, you'll actually deflate. Getting straighten out stuff like that. That's going to be annoying later on if that's a bad transition between the mesh. Straighten out your outline. Alright, so there's a few tips. I'll move on to more tips as I get more resolution here.